All right, we are now recording. Again, still for us from Main Street ROI, and I have Summer Gould from ICOM with me today, and she's going to be presenting how direct mail can boost your online marketing results. Summer Gould is the president of ICOM and has been in direct marketing for over 25 years. She has a ton of experience, and I'm very excited to hear this presentation. She is also the board member for Print Industries Association of San Diego and San Diego Mailing Systems Management Association. And she is also on the National Board of Directors for ID Alliance. And she's also a fellow columnist on targetmarketingmag.com. So if you want to read some more about direct mail and how it can help you with your online marketing results, you can find her column at targetmarketingmag.com. Now, I do have some housekeeping before we turn this over to Summer. If you have questions during the presentation, type those right into the questions box in the GoToWebinar widget. That should be in the upper right corner of your screen. I'll be monitoring those questions, and as needed, I can chime in, ask those questions to Summer, and we'll also have live Q&A at the end. Now, with that, I will turn over to Summer. I'm very excited to have you, Summer, and I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Phil. Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to be here today to discuss with you how effective direct mail can be. I know that many marketers view direct mail as a dinosaur since it's been around for a long time, and it can seem archaic when compared to mobile marketing and digital marketing and things like that. But direct mail should not be viewed as it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. It's very different now. Direct mail currently stands out in ways it never could have before. While it's largely perceived that older generations respond better to direct mail, in the 2015 DMA Statistical Fact Book, we found a different story. There was a large jump in response to mail pieces by 18 to 21-year-olds. It rose from 4% in 2012 to over 12% in 2013. In addition, the DMA 2015 response rate report found that in most cases, marketers were using 3 or more channels. Direct mail in 2015 had an average response rate for a house list of almost 4% and an average cost of response of $19. And when that's compared with other channels, it's very competitive. So with that in mind, I'm going to cover these 4 areas today. How direct mail can drive online engagement, tips on how to create direct mail recipients want to receive, technologies that increase direct mail's effectiveness, and direct mail's unique qualities. Here's a little contact information on me. We'll go over that at the end of the presentation as well. Phil gave a good intro. I feel like I need to add to that. So let's get started. First, how direct mail can drive online engagement. Depending on your campaign goals, there are several things you can do to link direct mail with your online content. Marketers are seeing lifts of over 30% when including an online component in their direct mail piece. So here are 5 tips for online integration. First, white papers. Provide a URL on your direct mail piece for prospects or customers to download a white paper. You can create a simple tip sheet, convert it into a PDF that is then available for them to download. It does not need to be extremely complicated. Make sure to capture some information about them before they download so you can build your data. Next is contests. Get people to engage with you on social media with contests. Ask them on the direct mail piece to enter to win a gift card or something else of value. Use this opportunity to gather more information about them, to add to your data with a few simple questions. Next is coupons. People love great deals. Coupons are a good incentive to go online, so add them to your direct mail piece. The better the interpretation of the offer, the more response you're going to get. So make sure that your coupon offer reads like a great deal. It does not need to cost you a lot of money. For instance, try 50% or 75% off of a smaller item, leaving the big ticket items full price. A larger percentage off is perceived as a better deal when it's off of a lower, even when it's off of a lower cost item. Next is registration. Provide a URL for online registration for an event on your direct mail piece. Events are a great way to drive traffic and grab additional information to add to your data. On the thank you page after they register, you can suggest some other related content they can access now. Take advantage of their interest while they're still on your website. Finally, information. Online, you can provide a lot of details about your product or service. You don't want to add too much information on your direct mail piece because that can be overwhelming and discourage people from reading it. However, online, you can provide all the details and product information they need. You can even add links to blogs, white papers, and other coupons to move them across pages and keep their interest. Now that you have people interacting with you online, let's see what you can do with it. First, reconnect with customers who have either lapsed or not purchased in a while. You can send them a postcard with a "We Miss You" offer, then use the direct mail piece to drive them to a landing page, and you can even find out if there were other problems that you didn't even know about. Now you want to build relationships with your customers and prospects. When you are able to engage people across multiple platforms, you are creating trust with them. The deeper their engagement with you, the more money they spend. Listening is the key to your success here. Gather both positive and negative feedback to better refine your offers. Gather information. The more you know about your customers and prospects, the better you can target them. So it's important to ask a couple of applicable questions each time you interact with them to add more information to your data. This will allow you to send them very targeted offers, which in turn increases your ROI. Now, sometimes people ask, why should I drive them online? Because you want to build a deeper relationship with them. Remember that 30% lift? Your direct mail alone is not enough. You need to campaign landing pages on your website, blogs, white papers, and social media, all working together with your direct mail. When you drive people online, you have the opportunity to offer more content to increase their engagement, and you can also gather more information about them. However, keep in mind that asking too many questions can give you a higher bounce rate. At a minimum, require their name and email address. Adding 2 or 3 yes or no questions should be all right, as long as you are gathering information that allows you to send them better offers in the future. All right, on to our next section. Tips on how to create direct mail recipients want to receive. Because if they don't want it, it's just junk mail. Know your customer well. The power of direct mail is the ability to reach the right person with the right offer to drive their response. Your choice of fonts, colors, images, layout, and text all affect how your direct mail is received. A tailored piece that includes some personal details or information of specific interest will make your customers feel valued and is more likely to grab their attention. So let's look at what recipients like about direct mail. It's delivered to their home through no effort on their part. It can be fun. Get creative. Think outside of the box. It's a way for them to save money. People love a great deal. It's informative. People are curious. It's easily kept for future reference. Use a magnet and they can post it on the fridge. Now, let's look at some direct mail statistics you should know. Almost 80% of consumers say they act on direct mail immediately. Over half of consumers stated they found printed marketing to be the most trustworthy of all media channels. So what do people do after they get a direct mail piece? Over 40% visit a brand's website. More than 30% search online for more content about the product. And 1 in 4 keep the mailing for future reference. So keeping all of this in mind, ask yourself the following questions about direct mail. How can you change the way you send direct mail? Are you focused on the consumer and what's in it for them? Do you have a clear call to action and the benefits they will get by responding? Do you have landing pages designed with them in mind? Are you using responsive design so they can view your information on mobile devices? Get people from outside your organization to critique you. You'll be surprised what you can learn. We also need to consider the mail piece design. In direct mail, first get the recipient's attention. Sometimes the best ideas in direct mail design have already been used. The first thing you can do is look at the mail that comes to your home or your business. Are there examples there that stand out to you? There's no shame in taking a direct mail piece that you have received and turning it into something of your own. Of course, sometimes the opposite is true, and a really horrible piece can show you exactly what not to do. The only way that direct mail will continue to work is if we as marketers send direct mail to consumers that's designed well, has a clear call to action, and is targeted to the right people. This keeps recipients happy and increases your response rates. All right, now we're ready for technology. These days, there are some great technologies that can be added to direct mail to increase its effectiveness. Traditional direct mail marketing is changing. We now need to tech up direct mail to meet the needs of recipients. Over half the people in the U.S. use mobile phones instead of desktops. Mobile has taken over our lives. Most people are within arm's reach of their cell phone at all times, even when sleeping. I know I'm guilty of that. Creating direct mail that caters to them by adding mobile technology increases their engagement. And technology can spice up direct mail and create a wow factor, as well as make it easier for them to respond. So we have 4 ways. Let's start with the first way, QR codes. You can create personalized QR codes that are unique to each person, or just use generic for your campaign. The landing page content can be changed and updated as needed, creating an easy way to keep people coming back for new content. Make sure to include scanning instructions as well as a compelling reason they should scan. And QR codes do not have to be boring. Here are a couple of samples right here that I thought were really cool. All right, pearls. A personalized URL will provide a personalized landing page and content as you need it. This should be set up with dynamic formatting. In other words, the landing page should work for both mobile users and desktop users. You can even use the same landing pages that you set up for the QR codes. That way you save on cost and you're not doubling up. This provides the recipient with a choice that works best for them, if they want to use the Pearl or they want to use the QR code. Next, augmented reality. This can be a very sophisticated technology to integrate with direct mail. Having an image come to life and be manipulated by the recipient is a very powerful thing. You do not have to go all out here if your budget doesn't allow it. You can create a great user experience without breaking the bank. Keep the recipient in mind when designing. What will they want to see? What will they want to get out of it? And what will they like? This will take time and testing to make sure that a wide array of phones and tablets display and convey the message correctly. Next, NFC. Near-field communication is the new great technology. Most cell phones now have NFC capability. We're still waiting on iPhone to jump on board, but they're almost there. This allows the user to tap their phone to the mail piece and launch content you provide them. No scanning or application download is required, which makes it better for the recipient. This is another sophisticated technology and just new enough that it can be exciting for people to try. According to Epsilon, brands with a compelling offer that link direct mail and digital can expect a 10 to 30% lift in conversion by combining the channels. Deliver magazine found that consumers of all ages who received a printed catalog spent more time on a company's website and purchased 28% more than customers who didn't receive the catalog. These tech-ups don't have to be big budget items. Creating the bridge from offline direct mail to online content is a great driver of response. You will need to provide information on how recipients can use the technology on the piece. Make sure to provide them with strong content to view. If the content is not well designed and planned out, then the whole process will have been a waste of time. All right, next section, direct mail's unique qualities. Direct mail has many unique qualities that help it stand out from other marketing channels. There are so many different designs for direct mail, from postcards to boxes. Pop-up mailers are really fun for recipients and can provide you with a better response rate. Creativity can run wild as long as you keep postal regulations in mind. Maximize the power of your direct mail by taking advantage of special traits. Here are 6 ways direct mail can be exploited. First is texture. There are many ways to use texture, from paper to coatings, that will give you a soft feel to a very coarse feel, like sandpaper. Think of all of the ways you can make your direct mail pop using coatings or special paper. You can create a wow factor that is not possible with any other channel. And guess what, guys? The post office even has a 2% postage discount for using texture through November of this year. So get with it. It's a good thing to do. All right. Next, smell. Scent is a very powerful sense. It has been known to trigger many memories. Direct mail, when infused with scent, can create a lasting experience for your customers or prospects. It's not just for perfume like you see in magazine ads, although that's a very popular one. Imagine what scents a landscaper could use on a postcard. Floral, grass, pine. I'm sure you can think of many more. There have been times, though, that even bad scents were used to emphasize how horrible it is when a product or service has not been used. I'm sure you can use your imagination on what some of those scents would be. All right, let's take a look at ink. There is a wide variety of reactive inks now. These can be really fun addition to your direct mail. So our first example are conductive inks. They become a part of a circuit and activated device. The recipients will press a button to close the circuit, and they can activate things like lights and sounds. Really makes the piece interactive. Leuco dyes change color and with variations in temperature. So we've seen that on some of the beer labels that change color. You know your beer is cold enough when the label's blue, that type of thing. Next, thermochromatic. They're heat-sensitive dyes, so when you touch it, it's going to change color. Optically variable ink. They contain metallic materials that change appearance when viewed from different angles. This can be really, really cool. And finally, piezochromatic. Change appearance under pressure. So you push on it, and suddenly the image looks different. All right, next, direct mail can be exploited by being saved. Unlike other channels, direct mail can easily be saved and used when needed. Give people a reason to keep your mail. You can even include a magnet for them to affix it to a refrigerator. Then they have easy access anytime they want. Remembered better. Studies have shown that print is remembered better than online content. So make sure they remember what you want them to. Use bullet points to highlight key information, but keep in mind they remember the first bullet and the last bullet most often. So use those 2 slots for the most important things that you have to say. And tracking. Using USPS tracking allows you to know when the mail piece has been delivered. This is very helpful when the direct mail piece is the first point of contact in your multi-channel campaign. You can then send triggered messages to follow up or utilize other channels, such as email, online, banner ads, those type of things. And when direct mail kicks that off, it really drives interest. Since direct mail is considered trustworthy by recipients, you start off with an edge over other marketing channels. By using the methods we have just discussed, you can give even more power to your direct mail. Another bonus is that print is better recalled by recipients than digital. Maximize your direct mail's impact by incorporating one or more of the items we just discussed. All right, I've got 10 things that I want you all to remember. Direct mail can be a great marketing channel for you when done correctly. The more direct mail campaigns you do, the better they will get, as you get more and more information gathered from each of your previous mailings. Don't get stuck in a rut and continue to send the same thing over and over again. It is very important to change what you're doing in order to continue to build interest and engagement. If they're getting the same piece over and over, it's going in the trash. All right, so here are my 10 things I want you to remember. First, get creative with your direct mail to stand out and engage people. Get people curious. How can you make your direct mail piece more interactive? That's what people are looking for. All right, use direct mail to drive people to your online content. Once there, provide them with tips, coupons, information, things that they can really use that drive them to go beyond what you were hoping for. All right, 3, gather information about recipients to add to your data. Knowing things about them beyond what they purchased from you can help you better target your offers. The more personalized you can get a piece, the better somebody's going to respond to it. Add technology with pearls, QR codes, augmented reality, NFC, and more. These can all help you get attention and make it fun for recipients. Include texture with special coating to add pop on self-mailers and postcards. Because no other channel can provide an experience with touch, make sure to take advantage of that when using direct mail. All right, target people on your mailing list with specific offers based on what they want. This will improve your ROI. Provide multiple ways for them to respond. The phone, website, and email are all common. But what other ways can people reach out to you? State your call to action clearly. Give them a reason to respond. Make sure there's no confusion about what you want them to do. Track your results. The only way to create better direct mail over time is to know what's working and what's not. Sometimes we learn more from what's not working than what is. And lastly, postage. It's your most expensive cost. Keeping USPS requirements in mind when designing direct mail will help offset that cost. You can work with a mail service provider to maximize what you can do and still remain in those requirements and not be paying extra fees. Thank you for listening. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me via email, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm all over all of those. And I think we are ready to take some questions.
All right, thank you, Summer. I do have a bunch of questions here. Let me start with this first one here. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this same question. How often should you send direct mail pieces to the same mailing list? Or is there a general rule of thumb in terms of the frequency you can mail a list?
Sure, there is a general rule. I mean, the first answer is it depends. But it depends on what you're sending, okay? So if you're sending the same offer over and over and over again, then you're getting a little ridiculous and you're going to anger people. But if you're sending something and you're able to modify the offers, generally we're seeing once every 2 weeks, once a month, depending on the frequency in which somebody would use your product or service.
Okay, got it. And how about in terms of where to get lists? or how to get lists. Do you have any recommendations there?
Sure. So there's a lot of data out there now. When we're going out and looking for lists for our customers, we're using list gatherers like Experian, AccuData, things along those lines. One of the features that we use quite frequently is we'll take our customer list and we will really dive into who those people are and then overlay that information onto a general list query to say we want people that are like our customers' customers in the general population and extract lists from that.
Oh, interesting. So in the online world, we have similar audiences in Google AdWords and in Facebook, custom audiences based on imports. So you could import a customer list into Facebook and create a similar custom audience based on that, and you're saying that can actually be applied in direct mail as well. You can have a customer list and create a similar list to that customer list?
Exactly.
Is that are there services that do that? How does that work?
Yes. So we use a system called Prism, which has people categorized into 64 different segments, and it really creates 64 different personas. So we can see from our customer that, oh, their list has, mostly these 3 personas. So we want to go out into our customer's area and say, okay, who matches these 3 personas in our mapped out area? And those people are better targeted for the direct mail piece so that we're finding like people that are most likely to respond to offers.
Okay, got it. That's very interesting. To answer a question here, can we get the copy of the slides? I'm assuming the answer is yes, Summer?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we will be sending a replay, and we'll also send the slides. Another question here, how can we use augmented reality for our online furniture business? What are the tools you would recommend to implement augmented reality?
Well, a really good use of augmented reality was IKEA's catalog. It came out new several years ago now, but they've been implementing it since, where you get, and it wouldn't have to be a catalog, you could use a postcard or a self-mailer, and when they scan the piece with their phone, they'll figure out, okay, I like this particular new furniture piece. Let's say it's a couch. They can hold their phone up and see the couch in their own living room.
Oh, wow.
That allows people to look at, hey, is that going to, look correct in my living room, or is the color off? Is the sizing wrong? Those types of things, so that people can really get a feel for what that furniture is going to look like in their own home. And that's been extremely beneficial for IKEA.
That's really cool. That's a great tip. And the follow-up there was just, do you have any tools that you would recommend, or service providers that can create that augmented reality?
Augmented reality? Yeah, we've been using Aurasma to do that. There's also Layer. Both of those are great and really easy to use. It sounds like really complicated technology, but when and they also have a trial, so you can log in, put something together, try it out, see if you like it, see how complicated it is, all that kind of thing. But honestly, it's not as complicated as people think.
Okay, and that first one was Aurasma, was that right?
Yes.
And I know some people are asking to spell it. Well, I'll actually make some notes here. And when we follow up with the replay, I'll include links to those 2 services. Let's see here. I actually had this question. what would you say is the smallest list that you could mail? I know we have a lot of small business owners don't have huge budgets, and I also know with direct mail, you want to have a significant sample size that you're mailing, and I was just curious to get your thoughts on just what would be a reasonable list size to mail to get some good data.
So it's really going to depend on who your audience is and how much response you're getting. So an in-house list is going to get you, a better response and a better sampling than a purchase list. But as far as the post office is concerned, you can start getting postage discounts with just 200 pieces when you send standard mail. If you wanted to send it faster, which is pre-sorted first-class mail, you have to have at least 500 pieces. But those are pretty normal quantities. We have clients that range in the 200 to 250 each mailing that they do, and they're seeing results with that. So you don't feel like you have to do 10,000 pieces in order to get information and a response. You can start small and build up as you go along.
Okay. All right, we've got some more questions here. Let me just scroll up. I think I missed one here. Yes, this one here. Do you have data on the percent of direct mail response when the piece includes a no postage required enclosure? Does that type of enclosure increase response?
Yes, it does increase response. I don't have the exact percentage off the top of my head, but we do encourage, especially we work with a lot of nonprofit companies, and we encourage them to send the reply envelopes with no postage so that somebody can easily fill out their slip and return right away. They don't have to think, oh, I need to go get a stamp, set it aside, forget about it, that type of thing. I think that's why we see an increase in response when we use the postage paid envelopes because it's just simple for people to use.
Okay, and a follow-up question here would be how do you actually track the response rates or the success rate of direct mail? And that ties into a question I had, which is if you could just list some of the key metrics that you would recommend to track and how you actually track those.
Sure. So depending on your goals and what type of business you have, the three most common ways for tracking response is based on people using phone numbers. So you'll have a specific number for a campaign, specific landing pages for that campaign. So you see how many people hit the page, how many people downloaded the content, purchased, or what have you. And then if you're a retail location, a lot of people are using that direct mail piece as, bring in the direct mail piece, we'll give you 10% off or what have you. And there's a code on that direct mail piece that the retail center can enter, and then they're tracking how many people brought in that code. So what they're looking for really depends on the campaign. If they're looking for, what was purchased based off of that campaign, we'll track that. If they're looking, what interest they drew, in other words, who responded to the offer but didn't quite make a purchase because they're kind of interested, so we can hit them up at a later date with maybe a sweeter offer or maybe just wasn't the right time, but it's something that they would be interested in the future. I think all of those things are extremely important to know. In many cases, we're segmenting a direct mail, so some people get some offer, some people get a different offer, and we're looking to see which offer pulls better so that we can use that information on future mailings. So it's not just responses that we're tracking as far as purchases, but also what's working better.
Okay, got it. And you mentioned earlier about tracking, or I think it was with the postal system will actually track the the amount of mail that got delivered, and then you mentioned following up maybe via email. Could you just clarify that? It wasn't totally clear for me how that worked. Does the post office email you how many were delivered, or how does that get integrated?
So when we create the direct mail piece, we encode the barcode with information to track. So the post office, as they put the direct mail pieces through their equipment, the barcode is scanned, and we get information on when those pieces are given to the delivery drivers to deliver. So, for instance, we can look at that at a local post office level, or we can look at that at a larger area level. So we can see, okay, for instance, for us in San Diego County, when are people getting that piece? When should we send the triggered email follow-up? And all of that data is driven by postal information that is fed back to us by their equipment.
Okay, interesting. So you can have that tie in to possibly even automation tools, and we use Infusionsoft, and there's other tools out there like Office Autopilot. Is it possible to tie those in so that when the mail gets delivered, post office would then ping you, or however that works, and then you could have the follow-up sequences trigger, the email follow-up sequences, I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, so that can all be automated.
Exactly.
That's great. All right, I am still going through the list of questions here. How much is, you mentioned it's not too expensive. How much, do you have a range for augmented reality?
Gosh, that's tough.
or NFC?
So NFC requires that there are little chips embedded in the postcards or mailers or whatever you're sending out. Those can get a little pricey. I would say augmented reality is still cheaper. Out of everything, QR codes are the cheapest, simply because they're super easy to do. On the augmented reality scale, it's really going to depend on how much programming is involved with what you want to do. If you're just linking to a video or content that you already have, that's not requiring super programming, then you're looking at maybe $500, just depending on how complicated it is. But if you go to Erasmus or Layer and try out their stuff, you may find that something that you thought was going to be super complicated is only going to cost you, $150, because it really wasn't that hard after all.
Okay.
I mean, we've seen, some of our customers do super complicated stuff, and in which that case, that would be, the way other end of the spectrum. But as far as expense goes, you can do it for a relatively low cost.
Okay. And another question here. You mentioned leading with direct mail and then following up with email. Is that typically the sequence that you find works best, or do other people lead with online marketing or email and then follow up via direct mail? I guess just based on your experience.
We've seen it both ways. So we have customers that do all the digital stuff first, and then they do a little interest piece. Hey, look in your mailbox because there's a special offer coming your way, or something along those lines. So the email or the direct mail is then a follow-up from their other marketing channels. And then vice versa, where the direct mail is the lead piece, and then the email hits, and so on and so forth. So with marketing automation, you can go either way. It's just a matter of scheduling, when you want what to hit. And as far as response rates, when marketers are using multiple channels, it doesn't really matter what channel goes in which position as long as you're using the multiple channels. It's multiple channels combined that really prompt a significant increase in response.
Okay, that makes sense. And we have a long question here. Let's see, I know that someone linked to a YouTube video, and let's see, a viral YouTube video about catnip-infused direct mail for bulk cat litter warehouse. And she said, I know that the video was released by the ad agency, but I'm wondering if the co-advertising effort, and then it got cut off. Let's see, is a new tactic reaching, is this being done, widely done, I guess is the main question. So it looks like somebody used catnip-infused direct mail. That must have been interesting for the postman to get that delivered. And then question is just, is that being widely done, I guess, infusing with scents like you mentioned?
Yeah, we've seen, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's widely used, which is why it can be extremely powerful when you use it, because people aren't expecting it. It's something, oh, wow, this is cool. And not just scents either. Like if you infuse catnip, you can infuse seeds. So you have seed paper where you get something in the mail and you go plant it in your garden and it grows flowers or a bush or what have you. So it's those unique things that you get in the mail that really get your attention. You know, I kind of threw out some examples of some landscaping scents, but really any type of scent, even something that smells awful, can generate a response because you're capturing attention.
All right. Sorry, I was reading some more questions. One here I missed. Would you recommend renting lists?
Our customers rent lists quite frequently. When you rent a list, you really want to make sure that you are diving down into specific types of people. Don't just get a list of everybody on a certain block or a certain radius around your location. Those don't really work as well. You want to find people that most commonly purchase your product or service. So, you know, who are your customers now? Think about, you know, is there a specific age range, gender, location? You know, you can get very detailed in lists that you purchase. And the better targeted your purchase list, the better your return on investment is going to be.
That makes sense. I had heard of, I think it must be several years ago, something called Every Door Direct. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, Every Door Direct Mail.
Yes. Have you found that's worthwhile? That's because you just mentioned don't send to everyone, and I think that's exactly what that is. You'd send to everyone in a zip code or something like that, right?
Right. You can send to everyone in specific carrier routes. You can actually segment it between residents and businesses, so you don't have to send to one or the other if you don't want to. Those work well for like dry cleaners, pizza delivery places, retail businesses that cater to a wide variety of people, usually within a certain area. So if you're targeting that type of a market, Every Door Direct Mail will work for you. If you need more specific information and a wider area, then Every Door Direct Mail is probably not the best alternative for you.
Okay. And another question just came in. Can you recommend a good list company?
We get a lot of lists from AccuData. They pull a wide variety of information. So I would recommend them. We've had a great success with their lists.
All right. I think that was the last question. This was great. Summer, I really appreciate you taking the time to present this and answer all these questions. One more question here was, actually, can you show Summer's contact info again? So that's a good tee up for you. I think it was
All
the
right.
previous slide.
There we go.
All right, so I will leave that up. And again, we'll be sending the replay. I just need to get this produced as a video. Then we'll send the replay. We'll send the slides. And I have a couple notes on some resources like AccuData, Erasma, and Layer. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to email support@mainstreetroi.com or email Summer directly, summer.gould@icom.org. And I would appreciate everyone's feedback when I close this down. You'll get a super fast survey. I think it's 4 or 5 questions. Just looking for feedback and ideas for future webinars like this. All right, Summer, again, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.